Hey YouTube, what's up? My name's John, and I'm continuing my Korax Mod series by showing off the Cleric class. This is the second part of the video series, and the last video was about the fighter, so be sure and check that out if you're interested. But now we're going to show off the Cleric in the Korax Mod, and show you what he's all about. Alright, so here's the rolling screen. You'll notice, unlike the fighter, the Cleric has much less health, 50 health, which is not very much. He also has Faith instead of Battle Rage, which I'll explain in a minute, like I usually do. But his strength and efficiency and speed is pretty nice, pretty well balanced. I do know for sure that the Cleric can not... He can eventually stop using blue mana, but I don't think he can do the same for green mana. So, unlike the Mage, who actually can make all mana obsolete, and he just always can use any of his attacks, which, again, seems a little overpowered, but the Mage also has really shitty health, so I don't know. Anyway, so let's see what some rerolls can give us here. You know, you can get a little bit of extra faith. Oh, wow. Wait, let's see if I can get that going again. I had like 34 faith there for a second. Aha! There you go. That's not bad. And extra strength and efficiency. That's pretty nice. And let's just do default anyway. Alright, so Faith. What the hell is Faith? So first of all, now that we're using some of the spell-based classes, let me go ahead and show off this one little feature of the game. There are spells in this game. Spell 1 is the Fighter's Berserker spell. I have it bound to Q. But when you start getting into the other classes, I think the Cleric has... Let me see, I might be able to find that out for you. There we go. Boom, right here. If you go to the Info button on your menu, right here. So... Of course, the fighter has, you know, rage, but this is what the, yeah, on the top there is the mage's spells, so he has about 7 spells. Or, actually, it looks, yeah, just about 7 spells. And the cleric only has 4. He starts with healing, so when you press Q, just spell 1, he spends 2 faith, and he heals himself, which is fucking awesome. Spirits Within is also an awesome spell, which I have to show that off, so I'll try to get the level 5 in this video. Because basically, if you're around a bunch of corpses, he makes them all explode and turn into ghosts that fly around and kill people. If you're familiar with his ultimate weapon that, I think it's called the Wrath Verge, whatever it's called, it's pretty much that, except you'd use that ability on dead bodies, and I just have to show you. It's awesome. It's totally awesome. Banishment is, I think it's like an item in the game, if you remember, except for the Cleric, he just has it as a spell, and he can use it anytime he wants. Basically, he banishes, well, the way the original spell works is that they would be banished into, like, the very beginning of the level, so you could kind of potentially telefrag an enemy if you wanted to. In this game, banishing just basically destroys the enemy altogether and takes him out of the map. So you just basically just insta-kill whoever you want. Wrath of the Gods, I completely do not remember how that works at all. But, yeah. Oh yes, and here's the item and price list. So when you go to the shop, the shops at the end of the game, like I was talking about in the last video, where there's a shop at the end of every hub, so to speak, here's the prices, and here's how much everything costs. So that's kind of nice to know. I don't know why the banishment device costs so much money, but whatever. Well, the Icon and Defender also costs 50 silver, so there you go. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Now, the Cleric starts out probably the weakest out of everyone. Look at this. I'm just smacking this guy over and over again. Finally. The Cleric is freaking weak as hell at the very beginning of the game. But he can heal himself, which is awesome. So he more than makes up for this by the ability that if you just sit here and take a beating for a while... That didn't happen. Look at that, I have 12 faith. It's replenishing pretty quickly, so... Yeah, I see no reason to ever pick up health power-ups because I can just heal myself all the time. But God, is that just slow as shit. I think the very first thing I'm going to do with this guy is just level up his attack power just dramatically as fast as possible. So, he definitely could use a little more strength. Using those gas bombs is always pretty nice. Actually, let's see if I can lure them all into it. That's always useful. I guess that'll help a little bit. go, level 2. Let's go ahead and freaking activate some strength here. We need as much strength as possible. Alright. I'm just going to skip searching for items and whatnot and just kind of go through the levels so I get to level 5. Definitely a little bit more powerful. Still painfully slow. But that gets better as you go on. Yeah, if you keep putting points in the strength, then this weapon's not that bad at all. In the original Hexen, this weapon's kind of crappy. But in this game, with enough strength points, you can actually make it fairly decent. Which is kind of nice when you're trying to save on mana. But of course, once you start, if you put a lot of points into mana efficiency, then your second weapon, which is that serpent staff that shoots out those green bolts, that basically becomes your default weapon. So there's really no reason to ever use this weapon if you do that. So really, this character has a lot of variety you can go into. You can make him extra strong, so that this weapon's actually useful, or you can put a lot of points into efficiency, so that his main weapon is the serpent staff, which also, if you remember, can steal people's health. So this guy definitely can keep himself alive, which is nice. Alright. I also think that if you use these quartz flasks, I think you can use those to increase how much faith you have, or at least replenish your faith, so to speak. I think that is how they work, possibly. I don't know if that's absolutely true or not, but it's very possible. 7 hits, that's not bad. But yeah, I'm thinking with this guy, for this role, I'm definitely going to try to make his staff a little more powerful. And I'm probably going to increase his speed. Basically make it so he can do a lot of melee if he needs to. And then later on in the game, hypothetically speaking, if I were to keep going, then I'd probably, you know, increase his efficiency later on, when it actually becomes important. When you start using mana for everything. Alright, well look at that, I'm level 3, and now I can use mana, but I'm going to go ahead and throw more points into strength. Again, I think the Cleric has a cap on strength as well. The Fighter has a pretty high cap, whereas the Cleric has a slightly smaller cap, and the Mage has a very small cap on strength. But the Mage has a really high efficiency cap, and I think the Mage also has a pretty small speed cap. So, there's caps on all 3 of these stats depending on what class you're playing, is basically the point I'm trying to make here. So, alright, well now I'm level 3, I can use mana, and I should potentially have a stronger mace now. Let's see how strong it really is. That's a lot better, it's like 5 hits instead of 7. Oh boy. That's the only item I have. Okay, shit. Oh, okay, well, I guess I'm going to show you this. It's kind of cheap, but it's kind of a bug in the game that you can exploit to make yourself super powerful. But I'm going to go ahead and show you. Alright, so you see these trees? It's only these kind of trees, so keep this in mind. You can attack these trees, as you can see here. Let me kill this guy real quick. Alright, so right now we have 5,444 experience point, right? So let's attack this thing a couple times. 5 times. Look at that, 488. You seeing that? It's going up like every 15 points or so, 35, 49, maybe a little more than that. Like 14 points. Every time you hit that tree, it's like 14 points or something, right? So I can just sit here at the very beginning of the game. If you want, you can just basically farm experience just by hitting this tree over and over again. So developers, take note. I don't know if there's any way for you to fix that. But yeah, you get 14 points for every time you hit a tree. So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't know. I will say that you should play the game fairly and not exploit that, but what the hell, I just showed you how to do it. If you really have the patience to sit here and just farm out experience points by hitting a tree over and over again, then, you know, more power to you, I guess. So yeah, I could potentially just sit here and level up to level whatever I want, but I mean, you know, let's be honest here. Is that really exciting? No, not at all. It's really boring, but it's something you can do, and it's a pretty big design flaw. And any class can do that, by the way. So, you know, I think you can do it with any weapon also. Even the mage could sit there, and the mage, by the way, with his little, you know, he has that wand that can penetrate enemies. You can sit there and line up those trees and just really rack up the experience points. So there you go. I told you an exploit. I don't think you should use it because I think kind of the fun of the game is going through and leveling up, and, you know. But if you really want to, you can do it that way. So, sorry developers for telling people about that secret, but whatever. It's part of the game. It's unfortunate that it exists, but there you have it. See, look, now we already have like 1,000 experience points left. I'm gonna level up. And by the way, though, the one thing is, though, although you could do that, you get way, way more experience from killing enemies. Like, way more. Like, what? Like, 10 times more? I don't know, like, maybe even more than that. So, you're more inclined to go around killing enemies than just to sit there and whack that tree all day. I would think. Because you level up so much faster by just killing enemies. So, maybe it's not so much of an I mean, it can be done. It absolutely can be done, but I think the game is, you know, I think it almost encourages you to not exploit the game that way, because it's just, you will actually level up faster by doing what I'm doing right here. But doing that for a good 2 minutes certainly didn't hurt anything, you know. But, again, it's kind of cheap, but whatever. You can play the game however you want, as far as I'm concerned. I'm just showing you the game. What you do with it after that is your own business. Anyway, see how we can get to level 5 here. Alright, well now we're level 4 at least. More damage, please. It's the only weapon I have, so I'd like more damage. There's that switch right here. Definitely a little bit stronger. Ow. That hurt a lot. Okay, so yes, I just confirmed, if you use these little flasks here, these purple flasks, you restore all of your faith, like, or at least most of it. So, if you want, you can just heal yourself with your little spell, and use these flasks to restore your faith points. Not a bad idea. Alright, how much longer do we have? Oh yeah, now we can start collecting mana. The weapon that we don't have yet. I remember playing this game a long time ago and thinking that if I jumped on those spikes, it would kill me. Pretty sure that's not the case. Oh yeah, he's definitely more powerful now. He kills people in 4 hits. Still no weapon yet. This is definitely one of those situations where I'm glad I can heal myself. I'm gonna sit here and spam the healing button until I kill all these guys. Maybe I didn't need it. Boom. We need 5,000 more. Okay. Now let's see if I can use this. I can use that. Okay. I think all the classes can use that piece of armor, but the mage is definitely limited when it comes to what types of armor you can use. I know that much for sure. I think the fighter had more enemies to kill at this part. Possibly. Man, those fireballs are really powerful. Overwhelmingly so. Alright. Let's kill the rest of the enemies in here. Yes, also for those who are still interested in leveling by attacking trees. Those trees exist elsewhere, so you will find them as you go throughout the game. So if you really want a little extra boost in XP, you can smack them around a bit. Here we go, here's some guys today. But I still stand by the idea that you get way more experience killing monsters than you ever would just sitting there whacking a tree all day. But, as I said before, it can be done if you really want to. I guess we're going here first. It's kind of the nice thing about this game. You don't really have to do it in any particular order. Just gotta eventually hit all the right switches so that you eventually go to the right spot. But sure would be nice to have that ranged weapon, though. That would definitely be a nice thing. Uh-oh. Whew. See? So glad I can heal. And I can use all these flasks to restore all. See that? I went from 17 to 42. I used like 3 of my flasks to do that, but... Using the flask also heals you, though, by the way, so... Cleric's all about having all these awesome healing abilities, basically. Ow. Yeah. Sounds like you basically, as long as you have the mace, you just kind of want to sit here and spam Q, or whatever your button is, and just whack people until they're all dead. Just healing yourself the whole time. Occasionally using one of these flasks to give yourself more faith points. And repeat. That seems to be the basics of how to play this class right now. If this class seems overpowered, wait till I show you the mage. So the mage is ridiculous in terms of how much power he has, especially at the very beginning of the game. How close are we now? Only 1,000 more, so that's not going to be much longer. Yes. Hopefully I'll be at level 5 and I can show you that that other ability. So yes, I know this is probably really exciting watching me just run around whacking people with a mace, but once I get to level 5 I can start resurrecting people. Whoa, my god. Okay. See, that's why I'm really glad though that I can heal myself. See, look at that. Killed about 6 enemies. I already went through like 900 experience points. To get that, you would have had to stand at a tree for like minutes upon minutes. I bet I'm gonna level up after I kill these 2 guys. There you go, see? Oh, okay. So now we can do it. Check this out. And is it R? Yes, it's R. It's not R. T? Ah, it's T. Okay. It's spell number 3, I guess. Here, let's try it again. Oh god. Let's not do that, though. That is very bad. Ah, stupid gas cloud. Alright. I want to actually, like, show it off in action, so let me see if I can actually make that work. Alright, but as you can see, hit T to unleash those things. Requires a lot of faith to do that, though, if you haven't noticed. But now that we're level 5, let's go ahead and, let's do... Well, we still don't have our second weapon, so let's keep it up with that. Alright, I want to just find an opportunity to show off that ability in action. I mean, I think you get the idea. Oh, here we go. Here, let's try it here. T! Oh, how much faith do you need for that? You need 5. Alright, 5 plus each corpse. Okay, so there's so many corpses around that it's trying to calculate all of them. That's not helping us too much. I just need more faith. I need to have faith in order to use that spell. And I just use support. Oh, ooh. Here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Alright, that should be quite enough. Here, come here, buddy. Come here. Oh, yes, both of you. Alright, ready for this? Kaboom! How awesome is that? Seriously, I mean, come on. What is there not to like about that? That is just pure awesomeness in one little button. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, really. I mean, it's just... But you need a lot of faith to have... I mean, again, that was a lot of bodies. That required a lot of faith, so... But, goddamn, is that a badass ability? Is it not? I mean, you know, how could you not like that? Simply amazing. I still do not have my weapon. I am shocked at this. Uh-oh. I'm running out of faith. I'm running out of faith! I'm gonna die! Ah! Okay. Well, anyway, there you go. There's a nice little preview of how the Cleric works in this game. He can resurrect bodies to turn into ghosts that do his bidding, more or less. And he can heal himself. 2 excellent properties. And of course he has these other 2 spells that, well, you're just going to have to find out for yourself with those 2, because they're a lot of fun. Alright, well, thanks for watching again, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video where I show off the last class, the Mage. Later.